Hey guys, it's Marta. Welcome. This is part 2 of a video about climbing roses in my garden. I will be talking about varieties and what to do so your roses bloom beautifully. In the last video, I was showing you roses Laguna, I was showing you Constance Price, some other roses that I have on my terrace, and I was also showing you this rose. And I said it is Prinzessin. And then the lady that I bought it from a nursery that makes roses, she wrote to me that this is not the rose I bought, this is not Prinzessin. And I've been saying it for 5 years. And she said, because I was talking about how it has such beautiful scent and the other rose shouldn't have, this is what they write on the net. And she was like, this is not the rose, I'm so sorry. This one is called Zaide. So little disclaimer, I did not know what kind of rose I had for 5 years. And I just found out yesterday that this is a different variety called Zaide. But we are going to see some roses I did not talk about in the previous video. Let's go. So we are back at Rose de Tolbiac, a beautiful climbing rose. But before I talk about her, I wanted to talk about what you should do so your climbing roses bloom beautifully. The most important thing is not even pruning, but training your rose in a perfect way. So all of those main stems should be trained horizontally. As much as you can. You can go with 45 degrees and then try to bend it and work with the stems when they are quite elastic. So when they are younger, it is so much easier. And then we tie them up to some kind of structure. It can be a wall like mine, it can be an obelisk, it can be whatever you want, a pergola. And the more the main stems go horizontally, the more lateral stems you will get, and those will bloom for you. Rose de Tolbiac is one of those roses that I'm most satisfied with. Why? Because it has been blooming for the longest of all of my roses, and I still have some flowers in bud. So I know that it will bloom for me for at least another 2 weeks. So that's almost 2 months of non-stop blooming. That is a very long time for a rose. Normally, I would say one rose with main blooming time would be 2 to 3 weeks. Then we have a break, and especially with climbing roses. And this one is like chef's kiss, as they say now on all the TikToks and Instagrams. And also the flowers are incredibly long lasting. They don't shed all of the petals all the time. Of course, some of them fall, but you will see some of the roses are like fireworks. When they fade, they will just like scatter everywhere. And this one is, most of them are drying up on the stem and some petals are falling down, but it is a really nice cleaning rose. Then we'll need just to cut all the stems, prune it back, deadhead it, and it might bloom again in the later season. When you're deadheading your climbing rose, you can prune right above the leaf that has 5 or 7 single leaves, or you can go even further, few leaves down, if you want to reduce the amount of stems. I usually do that. So if we have a stem like this one, I will not go after the first leaf with 5 single leaves, but I will go further, like 3 leaves down, and then we'll have a more compact growth that will look better on this wall. This is a rose called Jardinia. I really love this on my terrace. It is a rose that is a small climbing rose with beautiful pink flowers. They are not too messy. I think they are fine for a terrace, for a big pot. And the scent is very gentle, very nice, like sweet, rosy smell. And this rose is really beautiful. I really like it. It's not too much for a closed space. I have a rose behind me that does not match the description. It is a problem, but this one is really good for a small space. This rose was having the insect problems of like a really big one She had it all of the kinds of insects you can imagine. She had them on her, and I've been fighting for 2 years to help her. And now she looks healthier. Of course, she's not insect free, but definitely when you compare it how she looked like a few years ago, it is definitely better. When I was choosing climbing roses for my garden, I was mostly looking at pictures online, and I was thinking maybe this one will work. And most of them are beautiful. I'm really happy with my choices, but this was a bad choice. This is rose Aloha, and this rose would be fine for a different space, somewhere in the garden, in a large open space, not on my terrace. And I will be taking her out of here because those stems are so long, they are very prickly. The amount of flowers is fine, but the color is also off for this space. I would much prefer planting another Spirit of Freedom, and this would be cohesive, everything, the color, the vibe, the growth of the rose. Okay, let's go further. I will show you some choices I'm really happy with. This rose, I was talking to her, I was like, Jasmina, we are doing a video about climbing roses, maybe you'd be a bit faster, please. She was like, okay, I will give you one flower to show them. So this is one of my favorite roses. This is Jasmina, and it has clusters of small pink flowers with beautiful scent, very strong scent. But this is not a scent that you would know from David Austin roses. This is a German rose scent. So it will be more like fabric softener, but with rose scent, so it's more artificial, but nonetheless it is a beautiful scent. It is a very healthy rose. As you can see, those leaves look almost like they were untouched, although it is the end of June. And black spot, if there is, it's just like few spots. Of course, we'll get some insects, but I've learned that a bit of insect situation is not a problem. You will still get a lot of flowers. Some leaves will be damaged. Maybe you will lose a few petals, but let's not be like super worried. You will still get a lot of flowers, and you are not spraying anything. Now I will show you the largest rose in my garden, Bobby James. If I got a penny after every question I got about how many roses is planted here, I would be able to buy all of the roses in my garden. So many questions like that, because people cannot believe that this is just one plant. And Bobby James is a huge rose. When you want it, you really need some space for it, and you need to know that this is a monster of a rose, and it blooms only once. So Bobby James is a rose that blooms only once, but when she blooms, it's like tomorrow would never come. It is really a beautiful show. So clusters of white flowers, they are open and they are beautifully scented. Today we have this weather that is quite moist, and when the weather is like that, you almost have this like electricity is binded with the scent, and it's everywhere around you. And I love this about my June garden. When all of the roses bloom, all of those scents just intermingle. When you have a rose like that, you would want to grow something with it, so you have a lot of flowers in the later part of the season. So I'm growing a lot of Clematis viticella or other clematis you can grow, and it looks beautiful after those flowers are spent. Pruning schedule for this rose is quite different than other roses. I will prune it in the summer after the bloom. You can leave those flowers so they have those beautiful rose hips, but it will also give you a lot of long stems. So you can tie them to the structure, or you can prune them back in the summer, and she will be producing them until September, and I will be pruning them back or tying them down. And then I do not prune her in the spring. And this is the amount of flowers I get if I go with this procedure. If you like Bobby James, but you would like something a bit smaller and thornless, think about licoront. This is a rose that is a newer addition to my garden, just a few years old. Also a lot of open white flowers, beautiful scent, but thornless. Again, like this is quite important. If you have ever worked with roses, you know how beautiful it is to work with roses that do not have thorns. That's really nice. And this rose is nice to grow on a tree. It is a rambler, but you can also bend it. It's very elastic. You can like bend it to the structure, bend it to itself. This is how I did it. Only strings and bent to itself, and a little we tied it up to the fence in the back, and it's looking perfect. I really like it. 3 years ago, I planted James Galloway climbing rose. It is not a huge climbing rose, and I've been really surprised how well it managed. This space is not easy. It has other plants that it has to compete with, and it is not skipping a bit. It is growing healthy, it is blooming, so I'm really happy. The amount of light it gets is really good, but again, a lot of other plants, not enough water. So I would really recommend it for someone who is looking for a smaller rose, not as huge as Bobby James, but a smaller one with pink flowers. This is David Austin rose, and the scent is not that strong, but I think the petals are nice. There's not a lot of mess around it. So yes, if you're looking for a smaller one, go with this one. Okay, now let's see a rose. I'm also not sure if this is the variety I've been talking about for years. I have some suspicions that this is the older sister. Super Dorothy, because this is the rose I was talking about, is not blooming fully yet, but you can see how it might look like. It will be a bowl of pink small flowers. And I'm thinking this is not Super Dorothy, and this is Dorothy Perkins, her older sister, because Dorothy Perkins, when you read about this rose, it blooms only once, and it's always having problem with mildew. And this is exactly what this rose is doing, and it's supposed to bloom. Super Dorothy is supposed to bloom twice and not have problem with mildew. So I'm thinking this is the other variety, but I'm loving this rose because when it blooms, it is so full of flowers. Everyone stops to see what is this, and I would love it not to have the mildew because it always happens. And now you can see how ugly those look. But she will bloom. She will not worry about this situation. So I really love that about roses, that they are fighters. And no matter what happens to them, they're like, I will show you what I can do. I'm the same kind of person, so maybe this is why I love the rose so much. Please let me know in the comments if you have a favorite climbing rose that you saw on part 1 and part 2. Let me know in the comments, and maybe you have some beautiful variety that you would like to share with others. Please also write it in the comments. And if you like today's video, please give it a thumbs up, consider subscribing, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.